Welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a calm and detailed look at a modern Australian coin that many people have seen in daily use but may never have truly appreciated. The Australia $1 2014 coin. The Australian 50-cent coin, dated 1976, occupies a fascinating place in modern numismatics, not because it was issued in precious metal or as a mass celebration commemorative, but because of the rare and exceptional examples that have emerged from an otherwise common circulation issue. While it is sometimes loosely referred to by collectors as part of Australia's bicentennial-era decimal coinage, its true appeal lies in the ultra-rare error strikes, proof-quality survivors, and top-graded specimens that have transformed an everyday coin into a highly desirable collectible. For advanced collectors, the 1976 50-cent coin represents the idea that rarity and value are not always born at the mint by design, but can develop later through condition scarcity, striking anomalies, and sustained market demand. The 1976 Australian 50-cent coin was struck at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra during a period when decimal currency was already well established, having replaced the pre-decimal system a decade earlier in 1966. This coin forms part of the long-running standard circulation series rather than a special commemorative program, which makes its later numismatic importance even more compelling. Australia in the mid-1970s was experiencing economic change, inflation, and increasing public familiarity with decimal coinage, and millions of these coins entered daily commerce. Because they were intended purely for circulation, very few were preserved with care at the time, a factor that would later play a key role in determining which examples became rare and valuable. The 1976 50-cent coin features the iconic Australian coat of arms on the reverse, designed by Stuart Devlin, showing the kangaroo and emu supporting a shield of state symbols, with a Commonwealth star above. The obverse bears the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Arnold Machin, a classic and dignified effigy widely admired by collectors. Struck in copper-nickel, the coin is dodecagonal, 12-sided, weighs 15.55 grams, and measures 31.65 millimeters in diameter. While the standard design is well known, coins struck with unusually sharp detail, mirror-like fields, or strong strikes on all points of the coat of arms are far scarcer than the worn examples most Australians remember from circulation. What elevates the 1976 50-cent coin into the realm of high-value collecting is not the design itself, but how that design appears on exceptional pieces. Coins with proof-like surfaces, strong luster, and no contact marks are extremely difficult to locate because copper-nickel coins mark easily during production and transport. Even more desirable are mint errors such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, broad strikes, and dramatic double strikes. These anomalies occurred accidentally during the minting process and were never meant to leave the mint, making surviving examples genuinely scarce and visually striking to collectors who specialize in error coinage. In raw numbers, the 1976 50-cent coin is not rare, but in high grade it becomes condition rarity driven, a key concept in modern numismatics. Coins graded mint state 66 or higher by reputable grading services are exceptionally hard to find, as most examples entered circulation immediately and suffered heavy wear. Proof versions from official proof sets are scarcer still, especially when preserved without toning or surface haze. Error coins are the true ultra-rare tier, often existing as unique or near-unique pieces, which places them in direct competition among specialist collectors and drives prices sharply upward. In average circulated condition, a 1976 Australian 50-cent coin is worth little more than face value. However, the market changes dramatically at the top end. High-grade mint state examples can command several hundred Australian dollars, particularly if graded MS67 or above. Proof examples in pristine condition often sell in the 150 Australian dollars to 400 range, depending on eye appeal and certification. The most expensive and ultra-rare error coins have achieved prices in the thousands, with dramatic off-center or multiple strike errors sometimes exceeding 3,000 Australian dollars to 5,000 at auction, reflecting both their scarcity and their strong visual impact. Collector interest in the 1976 50-cent coin is driven by several converging factors. First is nostalgia, as many collectors remember handling these coins in everyday life. Second is the challenge of finding truly elite examples in a series that was never meant to be saved. Third is the growing popularity of Australian error coins, which are now actively sought by international collectors as well. These elements combine to create steady demand, especially for coins that stand out clearly from the millions of ordinary pieces still in existence. For collectors seeking a valuable 1976 50-cent coin, careful inspection is essential. Look for sharp strikes, original luster, and minimal marks, especially on the Queen's portrait and the central shield on the reverse. Certification by a recognized grading service adds confidence and liquidity, particularly for high-value or error examples. Proper storage in inert holders, away from humidity and handling, is crucial to preserving condition. Serious collectors often acquire top examples through major auctions, reputable dealers, or specialized numismatic communities rather than casual circulation finds. From an investment standpoint, the appeal of the 1976 50-cent coin lies in its asymmetric value profile. While common examples will never rise significantly, the best specimens have shown steady appreciation as collectors increasingly focus on quality over quantity. Error coins, in particular, benefit from a limited supply that can never be increased, a fundamental driver of long-term value. As Australian decimal coinage continues to gain international recognition, top-tier examples from otherwise ordinary years are likely to remain in demand. In conclusion, the 1976 Australian 50-cent coin demonstrates how an everyday circulation issue can evolve into a prized numismatic item when rarity, condition, and collector interest intersect. Its historical role within Australia's decimal currency system, combined with its iconic design and the emergence of ultra-rare errors and high-grade survivors, gives it lasting appeal. For both new and experienced collectors, Australian the coin offers a compelling blend of history, is one of the most recognized and widely discussed modern commemorative issues that even the most Australia's decimal era hold extraordinary value not for everyday circulation value, but for the exceptional and ultra-rare examples that sit at the top of the market. While millions of Australians encountered this coin in daily use, collectors quickly identified its long-term potential, especially in high-grade, proof, and error forms. Today, the most expensive versions of the 1978 bicentenary 50-cent coin command serious attention in numismatic circles, driven by a combination of historical importance, visual appeal, and condition-based scarcity that strongly influences its worth. The coin was issued in 1978 by the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra to commemorate the bicentenary of Captain James Cook's landing on the east coast of Australia in 1770. This event holds a central place in Australian history, marking the beginning of sustained European interest and eventual settlement. The late 1970s saw heightened public engagement with national history, and the Cook bicentenary was marked through exhibitions, ceremonies, and commemorative items. Within Australia's 50-cent series, this coin stands out as a one-year commemorative design, distinguishing it from the standard coat of arms reverses used before and after. The reverse design features a detailed portrait of Captain James Cook, facing right, rendered with strong relief that emphasizes facial features and period styling. Surrounding inscriptions clearly identify the bicentennial theme, making the historical message unmistakable. The obverse displays the Arnold Machin portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, a familiar image across Australian coinage of the era. Struck in copper-nickel, the coin retains the 12-sided shape unique to the Australian 50-cent denomination, with a weight of 15.55 grams and a diameter of 31.65 millimeters. In top-quality strikes, the contrast between fields and raised elements gives the coin a depth that is often lost on circulated exa. What makes the most valuable 1978 bicentenary 50-cent coins stand apart is their technical quality. Coins with full mint luster, sharp strike definition, and clean surfaces are surprisingly scarce due to the way copper-nickel coins were mass-handled at the time. Proof versions, produced specifically for collectors, are especially striking, featuring mirror-like fields and frosted design elements that highlight Cook's portrait. These proof coins, when free of haze or hairline scratches, represent the most visually impressive and desirable examples of the issue. Although the overall mintage of the 1978 bicentenary 50-cent coin was large, true rarity emerges when condition is considered. Most coins entered circulation immediately and suffered wear, making mint state examples far scarcer than raw mintage figures suggest. Coins graded MS66 and above are difficult to locate, while MS67 examples are genuinely rare. In addition, mint errors such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, double strikes, and broad strikes are extremely uncommon and form the ultra-rare category that drives the highest prices in the market. In circulated condition, the coin typically trades for only a small premium over face value. However, uncirculated examples can range from $20 to over $200 depending on grade and eye appeal. Proof coins generally sell between $100 and $300, with premium prices achieved by pristine, well-certified examples. The most expensive and ultra-rare error coins have achieved prices from approximately $2,000 to as high as $6,000 in competitive auction settings. These values reflect not hype, but sustained collector demand for genuinely scarce and visually dramatic pieces. Collector demand for the 1978 bicentenary 50-cent coin is driven by its clear historical narrative and its role as one of Australia's earliest large-scale commemorative decimal issues. It appeals to both thematic collectors interested in exploration history and type collectors assembling comprehensive 50-cent sets. The challenge of finding elite condition examples adds to its allure, as does the strong crossover interest from error coin specialists. This broad collector base helps support long-term value and liquidity. Collectors seeking high-worth examples should carefully examine strike quality, luster, and surface preservation, especially on Cook's portrait and the open fields. Certification by established grading services is highly recommended for uncirculated, proof, or error coins, as it provides authenticity assurance and enhances resale potential. Proper storage in inert holders, away from humidity and temperature fluctuations, is essential to preserve condition. Serious acquisitions are best made through reputable dealers, major auctions, or trusted numismatic communities rather than casual sources. From an investment perspective, the 1978 bicentenary 50-cent coin demonstrates how a widely issued commemorative can develop a strong top-end market. While average examples remain common, the supply of high-grade and error coins is fixed and continues to tighten as collectors hold them long-term. Proof and error examples, in particular, show steady appreciation rather than volatile speculation. As Australian decimal coinage gains broader international recognition, premium examples of this issue are likely to remain in demand. In conclusion, the 1978 Australian bicentenary 50-cent coin holds lasting numismatic significance through its connection to a pivotal historical event, its distinctive and well-executed design, and the emergence of genuinely rare high-grade and error varieties. Its worth is defined not by face value or mintage alone, but by condition, scarcity, and sustained collector interest. For both new and experienced collectors, it offers a compelling combination of history, visual appeal, and investment potential, securing its place as one of the most important and valuable modern commemorative coins in Australia's decimal series. The Australian 50-cent coin, dated 1982, occupies a distinctive position in modern numismatics, particularly among collectors who focus on high-value condition rarities and ultra-rare mint errors rather than standard circulation pieces. Although often loosely described by collectors as part of Australia's broader bicentennial-era decimal coinage, its true importance lies in the exceptional examples that have emerged over time. The most expensive 1982 Australian 50-cent coins are not defined by face value or mass mintage, but by scarcity in top condition, visual quality, and unusual striking characteristics that have made them increasingly sought after in today's collector market. The 1982 Australian 50-cent coin was struck by the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra during a period of strong national identity building and growing interest in commemorative decimal coinage. While 1982 is best remembered numismatically for special designs issued for international events, the standard 50-cent issues of this era were produced in very large quantities for circulation. As a result, few people preserved them at the time, assuming they would remain common forever. This historical context is crucial, because it explains why genuine uncirculated and proof quality survivors from 1982 are far scarcer today than raw mintage figures suggest. The 1982 50-cent coin follows the familiar Australian format, featuring the iconic coat of arms on the reverse, designed by Stuart Devlin, with a kangaroo and emu flanking the shield of state symbols beneath the Commonwealth star. The obverse displays the Arnold Machin portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, a design widely respected for its clarity and classical style. Struck in copper nickel, the coin is 12-sided, weighs 15.55 grams, and measures 31.65 millimeters in diameter. While the design itself is standard, coins struck with exceptional sharpness and original mint luster reveal a level of detail that is rarely seen on worn examples. The most valuable 1982 Australian 50-cent coins stand out because of their technical quality rather than their basic design. Coins with strong strikes, full cartwheel luster, and clean fields are extremely difficult to locate, as copper-nickel coins from this period were prone to heavy bag marking. In near-perfect condition, the fine details of the coat of arms, particularly the feathers, shield lines, and star, appear crisp and well-defined. Proof examples, produced for collectors, elevate this visual appeal even further through mirrored fields and frosted relief, making them the most attractive form of the issue. In numerical terms, the 1982 50-cent coin is not rare, but numismatically it is highly condition-sensitive. The vast majority entered circulation immediately and were heavily used, resulting in widespread wear. Mint state coins above MS-66 are scarce, and examples graded MS-67 or higher are genuinely rare. Proof coins are also uncommon in flawless condition, as many have developed haze or surface marks over time. True ultra-rarity emerges in the form of mint errors such as off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, and double strikes, which were accidental and exist in very limited numbers. In circulated condition, the 1982 Australian 50-cent coin typically sells for little more than face value. However, uncirculated coins show a sharp increase in worth, with prices ranging from $20 to over $200 depending on grade and eye appeal. Proof examples generally command between $80 and $250, with premium prices paid for well-preserved, certified pieces. The most expensive and ultra-rare error examples have achieved prices from approximately $1,500 to $4,000 in auctions and private sales, reflecting both their scarcity and strong collector competition. Collector interest in the 1982 50-cent coin is driven by several overlapping factors. Many collectors enjoy building date runs of Australian decimal coinage, and high-grade examples from common years present a genuine challenge. There is also growing enthusiasm for Australian mint errors, which are increasingly recognized as a serious specialty within numismatics. Nostalgia plays a role as well, as these coins were part of everyday Australian life in the early 1980s, adding emotional value alongside monetary worth. Collectors seeking valuable 1982 50-cent coins should focus on originality and surface quality. Look for coins with strong luster, minimal contact marks, and sharp detail on both sides. Certification by reputable grading services is especially important for high-grade or error coins, as it confirms authenticity and protects long-term value. Proper storage in inert holders, away from moisture and handling, is essential to preserve condition. High-quality examples are best sourced through established dealers, major auctions, or trusted numismatic communities rather than casual circulation finds. From an investment standpoint, the 1982 Australian 50-cent coin demonstrates how ordinary circulation issues can develop meaningful value at the top end of the market. While common examples remain plentiful, the supply of elite condition and error coins is fixed and continues to shrink as collectors retain them. This dynamic supports steady appreciation rather than speculative spikes, making the coin appealing to collectors who value long-term stability over short-term hype. In conclusion, the 1982 Australian 50-cent coin earns its numismatic importance not through rarity at issue, but through the scarcity of exceptional survivors today. Its familiar design, connection to an important era in Australia's decimal history, and the emergence of high-grade and ultra-rare error examples give it lasting appeal. For collectors, its worth lies in condition, authenticity, and visual impact, making it a compelling target for both experienced numismatists and newcomers seeking quality-driven value in modern Australian coinage. The Australian 50-cent coin, dated 1983, represents another intriguing chapter in modern Australian numismatics, particularly for collectors who focus on the most expensive and ultra-rare examples rather than ordinary circulation pieces. Although 1983 itself is not widely known for a single headline commemorative design on the 50-cent denomination, coins from this year have gained attention due to their condition rarity, proof issues, and genuine mint errors. Today, the highest value 1983 Australian 50-cent coins are actively sought after, not because they were rare when issued, but because time, wear, and collector demand have elevated only a small number into the upper tier of worth. The 1983 Australian 50-cent coin was minted by the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra during a period of transition and modernisation in Australia. The early 1980s saw economic change, evolving national identity, and growing public interest in collectible decimal coins, especially following several popular commemorative issues in the previous decade. The 50-cent denomination was firmly established as a workhorse coin of daily commerce, meaning most 1983 examples entered circulation immediately. This historical reality explains why relatively few coins were saved in pristine condition and why high-quality survivors from this year are now far more significant than originally anticipated. In terms of design, the 1983 50-cent coin follows the classic Australian template. The reverse features Stuart Devlin's Australian coat of arms, with the kangaroo and emu flanking the shield of state symbols beneath the seven-pointed Commonwealth star. The obverse bears the Arnold Machin effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, a portrait known for its clean lines and dignified appearance. The coin is struck in copper-nickel, has a 12-sided shape, weighs 15.55 grams, and measures 31.65 millimeters in diameter. While visually familiar, the design takes on new character in sharply struck, high-grade exa. What distinguishes the most valuable 1983 Australian 50-cent coins is not a change in design, but the quality of the strike and preservation. Coins displaying full mint luster, sharp edge definition, and clean fields are surprisingly scarce. In these examples, fine details such as the feathers on the emu, the musculature of the kangaroo, and the lines within the shield are crisp and well-defined. Proof coins from this year are particularly attractive, offering mirrored fields and frosted relief that dramatically enhance the visual impact compared to standard circulation strikes. The rarity of the 1983 50-cent coin is almost entirely condition-driven. Although millions were minted, most were heavily circulated, leaving few examples in true uncirculated or near-perfect condition. Coins graded MS66 are scarce, and MS67 or higher examples are genuinely rare within the series. Proof coins also become rare when found free of haze, toning, or surface marks. Ultra-rare status is reserved for genuine mint errors such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, double strikes, and broad strikes, which were accidental and exist in very limited numbers. In everyday circulated condition, the 1983 Australian 50-cent coin generally trades close to face value. However, the market changes notably for premium examples. Uncirculated coins can range from $15 to over $150 depending on grade and eye appeal. Proof examples typically sell in the $80 to $250 range, with higher prices achieved by well-preserved, certified specimens. The most expensive and ultra-rare error coins have realized prices between approximately $1,500 and $4,000 in auctions and private sales, reflecting their scarcity and the competitive nature of the error coin market. Collector interest in the 1983 50-cent coin is supported by several factors. Many collectors aim to assemble complete date runs of Australian decimal coinage, and finding top-condition coins from common years presents a real challenge. Error coin specialists also play a major role, as dramatic errors from this period are visually striking and increasingly scarce. Additionally, collectors who grew up handling these coins often feel a sense of nostalgia, adding emotional appeal to their financial worth. Collectors pursuing high-value 1983 50-cent coins should carefully assess strike quality, luster, and surface preservation. Particular attention should be paid to open fields and high points, where marks and wear appear first. Certification by reputable grading services is strongly recommended for high-grade or error coins, as it provides authenticity, market confidence, and long-term value protection. Proper storage in inert holders, away from moisture and handling, is essential to maintain condition. The best examples are usually found through reputable dealers, major auctions, or established numismatic communities. From an investment viewpoint, the 1983 Australian 50-cent coin illustrates how ordinary circulation issues can develop strong upper-end markets over time. While common examples remain plentiful, the supply of elite condition and error coins is permanently limited. As collectors increasingly prioritize quality and certified examples, these top-tier coins tend to show steady appreciation rather than short-term speculation. This makes them appealing to collectors who value long-term stability and historical significance. In conclusion, the 1983 Australian 50-cent coin achieves its numismatic importance through condition rarity, visual quality, and the presence of ultra-rare mint errors rather than through an inherently rare issue. Its familiar design, connection to an important period in Australia's decimal history, and the growing scarcity of premium examples give it lasting appeal. For both new and experienced collectors, its worth lies in the intersection of history, craftsmanship, and scarcity, securing its place as a meaningful and potentially rewarding component of modern Australian coin collecting.